Well, Leicester, having won the toss, have selected the inside starting gate positions for the opening race. That's gate positions 1 and 3, where they track Craig Marchant and Kevin Burns. And for Wolverhampton, it's their captain Chris Dukes on gate 2 there, in the middle of the two Leicester riders, and Ricky Johnson, the newly crowned European Junior Champion, on gate 4. Referee John Whiting puts them under starters' orders, and off they go, and immediately the two Wednesfield riders block out Kevin Burns on the first bend. Well, Craig Marchant goes into an early race lead. Craig Marchant, a very cagey customer. He won't be going flat out. He'll be looking for his team partner throughout the 4 laps, but at the moment Kevin Burns is stuck at the back, and it's Ricky Johnson, newly crowned European champion. What a feather in his cap that was against the might of Poland, but at the moment he's making no impression on Craig Marchant, who takes the 4 points. Wednesfield will be content with a share of the spoils there, and it's 5 points apiece after 1 race. Well, I think it's worth having another look at that first bend again there, just to have a slow motion look at the Wednesfield tactics. You can see Chris Dukes immediately coming out to block off Kevin Burns, allows Ricky Johnson, his partner, around, and Wolverhampton will be happy with the draw. Heat 2 sees the first appearance of the day of the former British champion Gavin Wheeler. Had a nightmare of a match in the home fixture against Birmingham, and he'll be looking to bounce back today. His partner, former British junior champion, and that's Ben Mould, and the Leicester pairing will be Adam Stevenson and their skipper Adam Peck. So it's race number 2. What can Leicester do from the outside starting gate positions this time, as they line up with John Whiting seeing them off to a clean start? And it's Adam Peck who gates right the way round from 4. Very similar tactics to the Wolverhampton tactics in the opening race, and once again we've got a share of the spoils on the cards, with Gavin Wheeler leading it up for the aces, followed by the 2 Leicester riders. Adam Peck right on the tail of Gavin, and Adam Stevenson then just covering the 3rd place, with Ben Mould trying to make an impression at the back. But it's a win for Gavin Wheeler. He'll be very happy with that one, and you'll be able to see a slow motion replay of the tactics by Leicester. There you are, Adam Peck then gaining a right round from gate 4, and it's a drawn race. Well, the teams are all level on 10 points apiece, and that makes Heat 3 a very important one, as the 3rd pairings from each side come to the tapes. And for Leicester, who've got the inside starting positions, they've got Dan Pike on gate 1, very experienced rider from Suffolk, and fellow East Anglian Jason Ashford. The Leicester number 6 is Dan's partner in this one, and they're going to be looking to score a heat victory, but they've got their work cut out, because the Wolverhampton rider on gate 2 is one of Britain's top individual stars, a former British individual champion, and that's Lee Ayres, and his partner is a Vets champion. He's an ultra experienced rider for the Midlands Club, and that's Mark Griffiths. So very evenly matched race here in heat number 3, could go either way, and there's no lack of experience in this one, as they're put under starters' orders by the referee. And up go the tapes. Looked as if Lee Ayres there was just on the move, but the race being allowed to continue, and straight away into the lead we've got Dan Pike, Griffiths and Ashford fighting it out for 2nd place there. Griffiths just shutting off the inside pathway, allowing his partner Lee Ayres to move into 2nd place. He sets off after the rider in front, Dan Pike. Well, it's a right old ding-dong for 3rd place there. Jason Ashford was given very little option there but to cut the corner. The referee said that was a fair racing incident, and he's away. Meanwhile, Dan Pike out in front is coming under increasing pressure from Lee Ayres, who started last, but finishing up on the final bend, and he comes through to take the checkered flag right on the run. What a superb ride that was by Lee Ayres. He was really out of it from the start. He looked as if he was just toppling, just about managed to keep his poise, but he was away way behind the rest of them, and while they were sorting themselves out, he had to pick his way through. through from the back. He had a little bit of help from his partner Mark Griffiths there, who just shut the door on Ashford, allowed Lee right the way round, but he still had quite a distance to make up on Dan Pike, who was out in front. He gradually wore him down, and by the time they got up to the final corner there, with plenty of action at the back, Eris was right there poised and had a stronger run in, and he took the 4 points. What a ride. Well, the scores are still level after 4 races with 20 to each side, and they're lining up now for race number 5. Once again, Leicester have the inside starts, and they've got their experienced reserve Mark Whitehead on gate 1. The skipper for the Wolverhampton team, Chris Dukes, is on 2. Then the experienced Kev Burns on gate 3, and today's youngest rider, probably one of the youngest riders riding in the Elite League this season, Matt Haddock on gate 4. As they head underway, and pretty smart start by Chris Dukes there, straight across on the rider on gate 1 to lead it up, but Leicester holding the minor places there, with Kevin Burns in 3rd place ahead of Matt Haddock. Whoa, leaving far too much of a gap going in there. Matt Haddock, he might be an inexperienced rider, but he knows a gap when he sees one, and he moves straight into 3rd place there. What a good ride by the youngster. And at this stage in the proceedings, Wolverhampton holding on to a 6-4 race advantage. Burns looking to get back on terms for that 2 points for 3rd place, but at the moment the young lad for the Aces is holding on to it, and he does indeed, and he'll be very pleased with that one there. Matt Haddock, 3rd place there, and that means it's first blood today for Wolverhampton. As you can see the pass here, Matt Haddock coming right the way through there. Burns far too wide, and I'm sure that he'll get a very good reception from his teammates when he gets back in, the young man from the Aces camp. Well, conditions just starting to deteriorate a little bit. The brollies are going up, and the rain's getting a bit steadier now, and that could cause some tricky conditions for the riders, with the possibility of wet starting grids and wheel spin. They're always very keen to get away from the traps as quickly as possible, the key part of the race into the first bend, and of course Leicester Monarchs are looking to try and make up that 2-point deficit. They trail at the moment by 26 points to 24. There's a strong Wolverhampton pairing, the young man from South Wales, Ben Mould, and he's on the inside starting position. Dan Pike, just caught in his previous race by Lee Eris on the last bend. Gavin Wheeler, of course, we all know what he's capable of. He's a race winner already. And Jason Ashford, a rider who's always looking to get in amongst the thick of the action, and doesn't mind a little bit of physical on the track. And off they go to a clean start, and a very, very comprehensive first bend there by the Wolverhampton team. Wheeler straight away from gate 3, and Ashford does try to get his wheel in on Ben Mould, but didn't quite get there. And Wolverhampton pairing looks as if they're going to consolidate their early lead in this match with a maximum race win, the first maximum of the day. Wheeler and Mould there heading home for what looks to be a very comfortable 7-3 advantage in the race. And Wheeler, the Southampton-based former British champion, there taking his 2nd win of the day. He'll be very pleased with that, as will his team colleagues when they get back to the pits. Well, on we go to heat number 7, and thankfully the rain has now started to ease off, but Leicester have got a 6-point deficit to make up in this one, and they've got the inside starting position. So that tricky customer Craig Marchant is on the inside then. Lee Eris, buoyed up by that very fine win in his opening race. He's next to him on gate 2. Kevin Burns will be not wanting to make a slip up like he did in his first race when he conceded a 3rd place. He goes on gate position number 3, and that very experienced and most experienced rider in this race, Mark Griffiths, goes from gate 4. So we've got plenty of Cycle Speedway experience lined up at the tapes in heat number 7, and in this one Pressure's on Leicester as into the first bend they go, but Mark Griffiths gets an absolute rocket start round from the outside there, clears the rest of the riders. Burns gets a pretty good one from 3, is into second place. Craig Marchant then sitting there with his eyes all around him as Lieris once again finds himself at the back. He's going to find it a little more difficult to pick his way through in this one from the back to win the race. In fact, Craig Marchant probably just about the most difficult rider in Cycle Speedway to get past, because he almost seems as if he's got eyes in the back of his head, and you can see there that he's giving Lieris the runaround and holds on to that third place. Leicester hold on to the 5 points, but Mark Griffiths takes the race win there, and Wolverhampton will be more than happy to share the spoils and maintain their 6-point advantage. There's an early blow for Leicester in Heat 8 because their captain Adam Peck has been excluded from moving at the tapes. Leaves just his team partner Adam Stevenson, who's made a pretty good effort to try and get round from gate 4 there, but Chris Duke's just holding him off on the back straight, and there's a bit of a coming together there. Around they go, and it looks like the referee stopped the race, not happy with something, and Adam Stevenson and Chris Dukes were certainly very close together. It'd be interesting to see what the referee didn't like, and it's as if it's the Leicester rider that he's calling around, and yes, it's Adam Stevenson excluded. Well, that is a real blow for Leicester. In fact, it leaves Wolverhampton, well, you can see in the replay here, yes, it's a trailing left leg there. Stevenson, the classic hook, leaves Wolverhampton with just the formality of completing 1 lap, and this will put them into a 13-point lead as they go up towards the interval. 7 points to 0, race win. Can the Leicester Monarchs fight their way back into this match in the second half, or will Wolverhampton pick up valuable away points? Join us after the break to find out. Well, back here at Glover Park, it's the unlikely scoreline of Leicester 32, Wolverhampton 45. Very unpredictable, and maybe the absence of world champion Lukasz Nowaczki and Phil Howells has really hit Leicester harder than they might have anticipated in this race. Now you've got the arch opponent in Gavin Wheeler, who's already won 2 races. He's on starting position 2 there. Mark Whitehead on the inside and Jason Ashford on gate 3. So Leicester have got the experience. Young Matt Haddock there on the outside has already made his mark today. They're being put under orders, and away they go then, and Wheeler, sure as he has done already today, jet propelled away from the start there to lead it up from Mark Whitehead and Jason Ashford in third, and young Matthew Haddock there looking for a way through at the back at the moment. Wheeler really in scintillating form today. He's certainly put behind him any memories of a disappointing previous match for Wolverhampton, and he's leading comfortably here ahead of Whitehead, and would you believe it, once again young Matt Haddock gets the dividend for pedalling for 4 laps, because he catches Jason Ashford out right on the last bend there. He comes through to take another valuable 3rd place. Well, he's really maturing, this young man, and you'll see there in the replay that he comes through to take 3rd place, and it gives Wolverhampton another race win by 6 points to 4, and they go even further ahead in this match. Well, Leicester couldn't narrow the deficit in heat number 10. Let's see if they can in heat 11, with the scoreline now currently standing Leicester 39, Wolverhampton 58. It's a strong pairing for the home side. The Monarchs are tracking Adam Stevenson on the inside start, and their captain Adam Peck on gate 3 for the Aces. They've got Mark Griffiths line up from gate position number 2, and Lieris, of course, their inspirational figurehead, on gate number 4. Well, if Leicester are going to do anything, they've got to do it in this race. They've got the pairing to do it, and away they go. And there's all sorts of mayhem going on that time. Adam Peck there trying to take out Lieris, as you can see on the outside there, and of course Mark Griffiths coming right across on Stevenson, and the referee having no hesitation but to blow the whistle immediately, and we've got ourselves a restart. Can they get away to a clean start this time? And the answer is yes, they can. But Ayres gets right round this time. Stevenson leads it up, but Wolverhampton will be happy to sit in for the minor places. All they need is to share the races, and the league points will be in the bag. Stevenson then from Ayres, Mark Griffiths in third place, and Adam Peck finds himself stuck right at the back. Well, Stevenson knows that he's got to really go like the clappers this time if he's going to hold on to that advantage. Meantime, Peck comes through to take over third place. He catches Griffiths unawares there, and now it's something of a rarity because the Leicester Monarchs have themselves a heat advantage. It's a 6-4, but Ayres might have other ideas on the final bend, but Stevenson holding on for the race win. Lee Ayres in second, and the all-important third place there going to Adam Peck. But is it enough for the Leicester Monarchs? We'll just have another look at that pass by Adam Peck there on Mark Griffiths, which got that valuable third place, but might not be enough to bring Leicester back into this match. There you see Peck coming through on the inside, has to lean on his opponent a little bit to get that third place. Griffiths trying to fend him off, but it's a 6-4. Well, as we move on to Heat 14, the situation has gone from bad to worse for Leicester because they've just conceded 2 maximum heats to Wolverhampton, and as they line up for this one, looks like referee Mr. Whiting is not happy about something on the grid there. In fact, he seems to be indicating to Nicky Whitehead, the Leicester rider, that he's excluded from the race. He's quite clearly not happy. There's some disagreement there. Nicky Whitehead is the rider that's been pointed up, and he's been told to make his way back to the pits. It looks as if it's for delaying the start of the race. Well, one can only assume that the patience of the ref had run out there. He'd given the rider long enough time, and Nicky Whitehead disentangling himself from the pit, from the starting tapes there, and as he goes back to the pits, let's hear what he's got to say about it.
I've just been excluded by the referee for putting my hand out under starter's orders. The rules are you can put your hand out under starter's orders when you're not ready. The referee has continually then just said to me that I'm out for continually delaying the start, which I only put my hand up once in the race. Very disappointed with it. At the end of the day, it's changed the match from there, and I know it's hard for the referee, but I do think he's stuck against Leicester today.
Well, that means that Adam Peck's the sole starter for Leicester in the restart of the race, and once again there's a starting infringement, and the referee blows his whistle immediately, and he's pointing to the other Leicester rider. That's Adam Peck. He's also out. A gift 7-0. Could it get any worse for Leicester, I wonder? Well, 35 points is the Wolverhampton advantage, and really the scoreline is somewhat academic as we line up with Heat 15, and Leicester really just need to keep their composure in this one. They've got Adam Stevenson out with Mark Whitehead, and they've got the inside starts, Scott Doherty and Mark Griffiths are the pairing for the Wolves, and really it's all about completing the race, I think, for the home side, because they've had a very challenging afternoon, and they find themselves trailing quite significantly, and they just need to keep themselves together and manage to complete the 4 laps with 2 riders. That at the moment is something that they've been unable to do in the second half as they get under starters' orders for this race. Up go the tapes then. Stevenson first to show, and we've got Doherty challenging on the inside, Griffiths on the outside, and whoa, they've just come together there going into that corner, and Stevenson and Doherty there squaring up to each other. I think it's more verbal than fisticuffs, but nevertheless the referee judged that unsatisfactory incident. You can see here that Doherty pretty forceful on the inside. Stevenson tries to fend him off and ends up in the safety fence. And another look at that. Maybe Doherty, although he fell first, he might have been marginally to blame for that incident, but I think the referee, Mr. Whiting, got that one just about right. A 50-50 incident, and all 4 back. And I don't think Adam Stevenson was entirely happy about the incident, but he's still in one piece. They're a pretty tough breed, these riders, and they take plenty of tumbles like that, and I'm sure they're used to it by now. So they line up for the restart of the race, and they'll be hoping that they can have a cleaner getaway this time. Heat 15 then. Up go the tapes, and it's Stevenson first to show. Griffiths now makes the challenge from the outside, and Doherty, maybe somewhat wisely, sitting back in third place, staying out of trouble, and Wolverhampton appear as if they're just going to settle for a drawn race. Stevenson allowed to lead out in front. No more incident in that one then, and it actually had 4 riders finishing the race. Roger Ellis just briefing his riders before Heat 16. Gavin Wheeler, really ex-British champion, not needing too many tactics for this one, because Wolverhampton certainly got the points well in the bag. And Wheeler coming up to this one on gate 2 here, hoping to complete a 20-point maximum. He's not been headed so far today, but Dan Pike on gate 1 there, just holding him off on the first bend, and Wheeler having to go wide into the corner, but doing a quick switchback. Oh, what a superb pass there. And that was a fairly easy pass for Wheeler, whilst in third place there, the other Leicester rider, that's Kevin Burns, just holding on to third at the expense of Ricky Johnson. But Wheeler is the headline today, because after 1 or 2 disappointments for Wolverhampton previously, he shows his real class here as he heads home the race. 5 races, 5 wins for Gavin Wheeler, the Southampton-based former British champion. And there you see that classy pass on Pike on the first lap of the race that ensured his maximum 20 points. We're on to Heat 17, the penultimate race of this match, and normally speaking, you'd expect the Leicester pairing of Craig Marchant and Adam Peck to do quite well in a race like this. Unfortunately, the Monarchs' luck today seems to have been right out, and what appears to be a prospective race win on the cards may end up being something completely different. And I'm sure Ben Mould for Wolverhampton and his team partner Scott Doherty, who's already been in 1 or 2 controversial moments of his own, they'll have quite different ideas. And although Wolverhampton have got the league points, Leicester will still be trying to salvage some pride as they get underway with race 17 into the first bend. Wow, that was a pretty robust encounter. It looks like Ben Mould took to the inside of the track to try and get a restart, because it was certainly a bit of a sandwich in operation on the Leicester approach to the bend. And Adam Peck, the captain, is away into the lead, and that cagey customer Craig Marchant is there, plonked himself in the middle of the track in second place, and defying either of the Wolverhampton riders. Doherty's already had a go at him, and now Ben Mould, who on his day is, one would have to say, has the youthful legs and the extra speed to get by a rider of Marchant's maturity, but it's all about tactics, and that time Marchant held on, and Leicester get their first 7-3 race win of the day. And you can see the approach to the first bend where a lot of the damage was done. Marchant just coming out to let his partner around. Ben Mould knocked right off his balance and onto the centre of the track, but salvaged pride for Leicester Monarchs. So riders at the tapes then for the final race of the day. That's Heat 18, and with the scoreline Wolverhampton 96, Leicester 65. It's rather academic, the league points going the way of Wolverhampton, but it's Adam Stevenson lining up against Chris Dukes, Jason Ashford and Matt Haddock. And it's a clean start. They're away without any first bend incident. Stevenson leading it up from Chris Dukes, then Jason Ashford keeping a close eye on Matt Haddock at the back. He doesn't want to make any more embarrassing mistakes like he did when they met earlier. And sure enough, it's a 6-4 to Leicester. They're going to finish up, by the looks of it, with a race win. And again, it's Stevenson who takes his 3rd race win of the day, and Dukes in 2nd place, Ashford holding on to that important 3rd. The match win, though, for Wolverhampton.